Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this Sunday evening in the high 10. And this is Everyday Shenanigans. I'd like to bring you an update to some information that I have pertaining to some stories that I discussed with you all last week. The first source is the Tennessean, and this is about a lady who was shot on an interstate in Nashville, Tennessee. 26-year-old Nashville nurse Caitlin Kaufman worked at St. Thomas Hospital. She was driving down I 440 westbound between Hillsborough Pike and West End Avenue Thursday night. Between 6 and 6:30, her Mazda CX-5 SUV uh, was pulled over to the shoulder of the road, the right side of the road on I-440 against a guardrail and stopped. It is believed to be a single crash. Bullets were fired into her car. She died quickly at the scene, and they believe it was only one gunshot that killed Miss Kaufman. Detectives are currently chasing leads from tips to Crime Stoppers, and the killer is at large, and there is no motive at the moment to be revealed. This is the 97th homicide in the city this year of Nashville, Tennessee, and there were 74 people slain in the city last year. Miss Kaufman worked at the intensive care unit at St. Thomas Hospital since 2018. She was living currently in Lebanon, Tennessee. She is formerly from Chicora, Pennsylvania, a small town in Butler County. And Lebanon, Tennessee is 32 minutes from Nashville, where she was currently residing before her death. The town of Chicora is 50 miles northeast of Pittsburgh, and she was living in Davidson County for several years before moving to Lebanon, Tennessee. My next update is Brianna Johnson. There's no current update that I could find on her. And my next story is Alexis Sharkey, the lady who was also found last Saturday thrown on the side of the road in Houston. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Sonia. How are you all doing? Okay, this source is by Yahoo, and I will be bringing other sources as well. Okay, a former detective by the name of Ted Williams, who used to work for the DC police, says right now there's a great deal of information pertaining to her case, and that he believes a suspect will be brought to justice soon. Right now, the Houston police is waiting on an autopsy, and word is Miss Sharkey told friends that she was seeking a divorce and that she had been abused by her husband, Mr. Tom Sharkey. And the police right now is trying to verify all this said information coming from the friends. She moved to Houston, Miss Alexis Sharkey, a year ago with her husband, Tom Sharkey, as I told you all previously, for a better job for Mr. Sharkey and business ventures. But right now, there is allegations of abuse, physical abuse by her husband, and that she was seeking a divorce. Okay. There's also information that a car was seen in the area, and I guess that said information is being investigated as I speak to you all. Um, Mr. Sharkey gave an interview with the news over the phone, basically saying he knows what went on between he and his wife. He knows the situation better than anyone. He was the type to cuddle his wife, to build her up because he knew that she had been feeling down, and he knew her better than anybody. And that's the said information pertaining to Mr. Sharkey. It's a very odd comment. If you go back and watch the video of this former detective giving the 411 on Yahoo News, he gave an interview with Fox News, Mr. Ted Williams. Something about that conversation with the husband, Mr. Sharkey, is he repeated himself in that said commentary, and I don't know, just struck me strange. And when I listened to the words, the first person I thought of was Mr. Number 45, the repetitiveness. And we know that people who tend to lie, this is my opinion, tend to repeat themselves in a conversation. They repeat their words, more than once. New York Post. And Mr. John Richardson was called on that fateful morning that a colleague saw feet sticking out the brush on that Houston road last Saturday morning. So Mr. Richardson goes out to meet his coworker out on that road. This is by the New York Post. And what he thought or what his colleague thought was a mannequin and or a dead body was actually a dead body. And he ended up calling the police. And to this day, he is still haunted by what he found a week ago out on that lonely road last Saturday morning. And the weird part to me is that the worker who called, I'm assuming was a male. I think it was very interesting that when he stumbled upon the feet hanging out of the brush, that he was scared to even go look. So he went and called this co-worker. I don't know if it's a supervisor or what, but this John Richardson came to the scene, and he was the second eyewitness to see Miss Alexis Sharkey's body lying out on the side of the road with her feet hanging out in the brush. Tom Sharkey, the husband, denies any risks were in the marriage, and he claims that he's cooperating with detectives. And he also states that he is confident that the Houston Police Department will find everyone that is involved. And that sounds very odd to me. Everyone. What does that mean exactly? So it's as if what he knows other parties were involved in the murder or putting his wife out there. So you also now saying what, Mr. Sharkey, you do believe that your wife was murdered because her mother does believe that she was murdered. She believes foul play was involved with her daughter being dumped out there on the side of the road. The next set of news is coming from Live 5. Stephen Bethia. This is a crazy story, you guys. 29 of Quiet Grove Drive. Doesn't that street sound pretty? In Lexington, South Carolina. Hello, Nitra. Was arrested November 28th on warrants issued the same day. He's accused of sexual battery. Well, charged with sexual battery with a female victim between the ages of 11 and 14 years of age. This incident allegedly happened between October 1st and October 14th. The latest incident took place on November 28th on Marant Road in Sumter County. He is accused of encouraging a girl to leave her home without her parents' permission, I guess to have sexual relations. And later, the father found the child and this Mr. Stephen Bethia, and the Mr. Bethia shot at the father when caught with the child. He is being charged with attempted murder, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and 2 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor. You can't make this stuff up. Next stories by the Chicago Tribune. Honey, I got more stories to bring, and then we'll discuss these stories when I'm done. My last story is a very odd and peculiar story coming out of Chicago or the Illinois area. A traffic stop was done in a suburb of Oak Lawn, and it led to the arrest of a woman. She's charged with murdering her 2 newborn babies that were born 17 years ago. Antoinette Briley, 41, of Holland, Michigan, Caucasian female, was charged Friday night with 2 counts of murder. The judge, Susanna Ortiz, has asked that she be held on a $150,000 bond in Layton Criminal Court building. Assistant State Attorney says the evidence is that there was a live birth of both babies. The babies were discovered on June 6, 2003 by Waste Management, who were emptying the trash bins in the alley of the 4800 South Latrobe Avenue block in unincorporated Stickney Township. One baby's placenta was attached, and the other baby was found in a black shoebox beside the baby with the placenta attached. A public defender has been assigned for Miss Briley. Briley said this is her account of what took place that night that the babies were born. She began to bleed and feel pain and cramping while at her grandparents' home alone. She went into the shower to ease the pain, later gave birth to the babies in a waterless bathtub. The babies whimpered, cried, but not too loud where neighbors could hear. She decided to then, after panicking, go and get a duffel bag. And without wiping the babies off, she put them in a duffel bag while her mind was racing. She put them in that bag, jumped in her car, on her way to the hospital, changed her mind, change of heart. Verbatim is what she says. And instead of going to the hospital, Briley told herself if nobody knew, no one ever knows, no one would ever know about their births. She then went to an alley, took the babies out of the bag, put them in the garbage bin, drove back to her grandparents' home, and threw away the duffel bag. She took a shower, got into the bed, and watched TV. She wishes she could go back and take back that whole day, and went on to the hospital. The truck was dumping the contents of a 75-gallon can into a trash receptacle of a mechanical truck when the two male bodies tumbled out and the worker called police from her cell phone. They talked to neighbors at the time, and they talked to several pregnant women in the area, and I guess obviously didn't get any said information. It is stated with the evidence that the babies were born alive and they died of asphyxiation, and they have been ruled a homicide. The case remained unsolved until Thursday, when the sheriff got a lead that Miss Briley was in Cook County, and they took her into custody at a traffic stop. The case was reopened in 2018, and DNA from the scene of the babies led to a genealogy test that was performed. So on July 2nd, authorities went to Michigan where she lived, and she dropped a cigarette at a said location. They picked up the cigarette, they put it into evidence, and that said evidence from that cigarette matched the DNA of the babies and consistent with the DNA from Miss Briley. Briley was currently living with her 12-year-old daughter, has a full-time job, 60 to 70 hours as an assembly worker. She has no criminal background, no witnesses to the alleged incident, said her attorney, her public defender, and she has been a productive member of society and not a flight risk. She will be attending court this week. Chief Leo Schmitz of Cook County Sheriff's Department says he has applauded the work of the detectives who solved this case. And that is the said information from the Chicago Tribune. This is a very baffling story of a young lady who obviously was about 24 years of age. Excuse me, take these off. It's reflection. She gave birth to these children at about 24 years of age, but she's 41, and this happened 17 years ago. So she gave birth to these kids, changed her mind, got a duffel bag, threw them out. Hello, Nitra. Hello, Nitra. Yes, it is heartbreaking. Threw these babies out, dumped them, moved on with her life, and never looked back to the said situation of the children. And she assumed, well, nobody knows I'm pregnant, but that's where I have the question. It's that, is it possible that someone did know she was pregnant? Because you see, they never state how far along she was pregnant. So see, we don't know if she was 6 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant, or she obviously gave birth, and they're showing from testing at that time of the children's death, autopsy, that the children were alive. But what we don't know is how old the children were. She currently works, has a 12-year-old child that she obviously kept, has not been in trouble with the law. So what will be the final results in this case? I don't know. You know, she may get probation for many years. Who's to say? Just depends on the judge. Did the dad know? Well, see, that's the thing, Nietzsche. We don't have no information. That's all information I have from the Chicago Tribune, is that they linked DNA to this genealogy. This is a new testing they're doing now to locate criminals to unsolved murder and homicides. And this is the second case I've seen where genealogy was done, because I watched a case on one of these true crime shows where genealogy was done on a man, and they found him and linked him to some old case. I can't remember what the case was, but I think this case was probably from the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, of a woman murdered. Yes. Hello, Zenobia. How are you? How are you doing, dear? Trying to get in a little more light. I was on that table, but honey, I was feeling a little achy, so I said I'm gonna sit over here on my sofa and do this live. I hope it's clear today. Um, this is a baffling story, but as I state, that story is coming out of upstate Illinois about the woman dumping the children and now being charged with the murder of two twins. Hello, D. How are you? Also, no update on Brianna Johnson and the boyfriend or lover who had her in the trunk last week, found in Beaumont, Texas, and also Alexis Sharkey, who was also found deceased on the same day in Houston. Hello, Dot. How are you? No. Only information I have on that is that this cop out of DC is saying the case is speeding along. He thinks everything is going along well. He also believes there will be arrests soon, and he knows that they are working closely with people, friends. Hello, Carolyn, to get this case solved. And you know, that black cop, he knows something. He gonna tell us everything, but he knows something, and he's out of DC giving his 411 pertaining to the case. I got a feeling that perhaps the husband did it because the friends are now spinning the web that he was abusive. She's wanting a divorce. Allegations of him choking her, her blacking out, waking up in the bathroom, coming to from the blackouts. As I told you, him giving comments to the news that he didn't want them calling him anymore, which is absolutely buffoonery for you to be having a wife just found deceased, but you don't want to talk to the news anymore. Hello, Ayana Rashad. How are you? God bless you. Good to see you. Well, good to hear from you, rather. That's odd to me that you would have a wife newly discovered dead and now you don't want to talk to the police. That makes no logical sense to me. None. Hold on one second. I'm going to check my lighting here for just a second, if you all don't mind. Okay. Because I think I was a little dim there. Very sad to me. All these cases are sad to me. I hate to hear any cases of women being brutalized. And also the other case I brought you just now about the Nashville woman, the Nashville nurse being gunned down on the interstate last Thursday. What was going on with she? Was this personal? Was this a hit? Has she done something to someone? Was she in a relationship? Or was it random? Just somebody on the interstate deciding they wanted to have a little fun and gun down an innocent civilian on the interstate. And when you go into that said article by the Tennessean, you will see a picture of a Caucasian lady with blonde hair and a picture of a dog. There's a picture of she and a dog in the said photo on that article. And that to me is a very sad case as well because they don't have any leads pertaining to the death of that woman gunned down on a Nashville interstate. And it is believed that she was shot one time. So they did not miss, whosoever it is. Yes, Nitra, I hope these people get justice too. Well, that's the set information, you guys, on my updates from stories I brought you last week. And the two new stories of the twin babies dumped up north 17 years ago, and the African-American male who went and shot the father of a girl he had been having sexual relations with, which is in most states, it is rape. It is rape of a child. Any child under 18 years old having sex with any adult child, it is considered rape. The one question I have about that story is that how did the father find the suspect and his child? Did you all think about that? How did the father find his daughter? Because you got to remember, they said he called the girl or she called him, whichsoever, and he told her to sneak out the house, leave the house without her parents' permission. So she went out of the house, met this grown man. But how did the father nowhere to go to find his daughter. And then when he finds them, this fool shoots at him, tracked her on her phone. Well, think about that for me now, Yana. He probably, don't you think the young girl probably had her phone with her? Oh, 360 locator on her phone. Okay, I forgot about social media and the apps and stuff. I forgot about that. Yeah, perhaps they have a family plan or something and they can track her phone. Okay, so now that you all bring that up, my little sleuths out there, my little detectives, if they tracked her phone, you know where I'm going, right? If you tracked her phone, why haven't you known she's been out here slumbering with this grown ass man? Okay, Nitra, what did I just say? How did the father find her? And if you all think that they've been tracking her phone or tracked her phone that day, why isn't you didn't know about the incidents between October 1st and October 14th that he's been having sex with this little girl? I'll wait. I'll wait. Where have the parents been the month of October? While he's been sleeping with their child. Now we have to worry about if the child has any diseases, if the child is pregnant. Her friends could have spilled the beans. Well, see, that's the thing about a story. They only give you bits and pieces, but you have to wonder, how did the father find her, and how is it this man been sleeping with this little girl for a month, and ain't nobody put two and two together where she been going or what she been doing? How's it that you found out about it this time? And the crazy part is, homeboy got a gun and shot at the daddy. So now, homeboy, you got attempted murder charge and the conspiracy of sleeping with a baby. Just thoughts on how the father could have found out. Well, Nitra, it's crazy. It's all I can say to it's crazy. And that's true, Sonia. That is true. Could be also they had no suspicions of the little girl until here recently. Maybe they got some information about her. Or like you said, maybe they called a friend spilled the beans of where they thought she could be hanging. But this is sad because the fact that the child is between the ages of 11 and 14, you are a nasty booger to be near 30 years old sleeping with somebody 14 or younger. All these women out here that you can partake with sexually, what you want with that baby? Well, Nitra, you're right. We'll see what kind of parents she has. If she's got those kind of parents that are fly by night, or if they just a couple of years older than the boy that was the man that was having sex with her. You understand what I'm saying? Because she could have some young parents. Because people are still having children young in this day and time. People are not making their children mind. They're not watching their children, because I see a lot of young people with children, little 14-year-olds, and they're only a couple of years older than their child. They're a couple years older than their own child. So they have the mind of a child. So guess what? A child can't rear a child. Right? A child can't rear a child. I got 12 in the room, 9 thumbs up. Thanks for joining me this wonderful evening in the High 10. God is good. I'm so glad y'all joined me. I meant to get on here, honey, about 10:25, but I was rushing and trying to gather all my little information to bring to you guys. But I want to tell you, I'm so humbled and thankful. I want to send prayers out. I meant to say this when I first started. Prayers to my friend Miss Mary in Virginia. She's supposed to go out the hospital yesterday. I haven't called because I'm going to give her time to, settle in and get rested up. And then I will call her to check on her. But prayers for Miss Mary. Prayers for my friend Carmen, who just lost her father. He was buried yesterday. And prayers for the Anderson Stewart family here in the area, and for my neighbor who died last week as well. This has been a tragic week in my area with deaths, COVID deaths, sickness. This is outrageous. all these people passing away. It's like you can't even keep up because every time you turn around, somebody's sending you a notification or a phone call that somebody has passed away. This is just really bad. But I want you all to pray for these people that I know of in the community that have passed away from the illness. And I'm praying for all of you out there as well. I want to thank you. I'm going to go back and look at that last comment. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Absolutely disgusting. Some men don't care as long as they groom them not to tell. Right, Sonia, you're right. And that's what's sad is that you said that properly, that it is a grooming process with pedophiles, rapists, child molesters. They like to groom their victims, young girls. They like to groom them, sweet talk or threatening. It's all the same in the end because it's manipulation. And the fact that you will be fancying a child, there's something wrong with you because there's nothing a child has in his or her disposition that you should be attracted to. There's nothing that a child has to offer you ever. And I am very leery of grown people who like to partake with children. Now, do not get me wrong by what I'm trying to say. There is nothing wrong with liking children. You want to spend time with children, but you have to know when it is not feasible for an adult to be in the company of a child often. Because it can go two ways. It can be that the child is hanging with a childlike adult who's trying to relive childhood, and they don't have the sensories to behave like an adult to where they want to partake with adults. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then you have those who are with children for deviant reasons. And I don't have to go there with you, but you know what I'm saying. Because I have met some people who act like children and they like to be around kids a lot. And as I state, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be in the company of children. But as I state, you have different kinds of people who have different reasons for why they like to partake with children. Now, some adults act like kids, so they like being with children. You understand what I'm saying? They like hanging with kids because they have a childlike mind. I've met a few adults who act like that and say, well, I don't really jive well with grown people. I love children. I love hanging with children. And then sometimes, I'll sit and listen to their conversation and I'll say to myself, well, I can see why you like hanging with kids because you act like a child. Because you have to ask yourself, why would an adult want to hang, just saying, with another adult at some point? That's all I'm saying. Because I like kids too, but I know how to send them back to the direction that they came from, if you get my drift. I don't want to be around children 24/7. Oh, D. Well, D, don't let that deter you, baby. D, don't let that deter you. Because I tell people that even though I've had bad experiences with the date site, I still, when I meet single women, I still will tell them, hey, try the date site. Because you see, what I'm getting from it, you may not get from it. You may actually get on it and a couple weeks, a month, and you may actually meet somebody really nice. Yes, Nietzsche, we do have to protect our babies. This is true. So I don't want any of you thinking not to go on the date site. You know what you should and shouldn't be doing as far as meeting people, period. It doesn't matter if it's the site, if it's out in public, through a friend. You need to use discretion in meeting people, bringing people back to your home. I will say, here in the South, we're more talkative. We're more friendly with people. We tend to let people come in our homes quickly before knowing them, helping people in their houses, bringing stuff to their houses, coming in. And you have to think sometimes you may let the wrong one in. And we can do that without it even being a situation with dating. Like I said, it could just be you're trying to move a chair in your house. Somebody walks along and says, well, ma'am, do you need some help with that chair? And you be like, oh, thank you so much. I couldn't carry it. And before you know it, you got this bloke pushing his chair in your house. You shut that door, now it's on and popping. You understand what I'm saying? You don't know people, period. Period. It doesn't matter if it's a landlord, maintenance man in an apartment complex, it's all the same. You do not know people. You do not know who will try you. And I say this to women because we do get too friendly with people and we're too nice and we invite people over and we invite people in. You might be handing somebody a soda pop that was thirsty. I mean, just whatever. And you think, oh, they look all right. I'll let them come in and get something to drink or a bottle of water or because I'm telling you, people here in the South are a little more quick to let strangers in their houses for various reasons. People up north, East Coast, out west, they rarely just let people come walk in their homes for stuff. Trust me, I see it every day. I see it every day. I see it every day because I think we don't think that people will hurt us. We don't think people will harm us, but they will. I mean, you can get a woman to harm you. You can't just assume because you let a woman come in your house. You say, well, girl, I got some stuff I'm getting rid of. You come on in here. I give you a bag of clothes. You don't know what she do when she coming out. Oh, yeah, that's right, Yana. You told me that. 15 miles apart. Okay. Right, Zenobia. You're right. You're right. Zenobia, I'm glad you joined me, honey. I'm glad you tuned in. But that's what we do. We look at people and we think, not to be gullible, right? You look at people and their appearance and you're thinking, oh, he looks so nice. She looks so nice and well dressed. And you don't know people. We all are human and we are flawed and we're all susceptible to do wrong, to lie, to steal, to manipulate, to con, to fraud people. Let me tell you all something a neighbor told me years ago. He was a young guy. I really liked him. He was a real, nice neighbor. He was sweet every time he see me. He was very mannerable every time he see me. He'd always call me Miss Angie when he saw me. And he was in his late 20s. He told me one day we were standing outside in our apartment complex talking one day near the mailboxes. And we were talking and he said, Miss Angie, I want to tell you something. My hair's poofy. He said, I want to tell you something. He said, we all con each other, manipulate one another. There's no such thing as one person manipulating and another one ain't. He said, in some form or fashion, we all have manipulated somebody. And I thought about that. And he's right. We may never admit that we are grand manipulators. Okay? Or some con artists. But some of us know we know how to manipulate. Do you understand what I'm saying? And as men would say about a woman, she should know how because she's got the greatest gift, and you all know what I'm talking about, that she can use to manipulate a man, and she can bat her lashes and get what she wants. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, some women haven't learned the art of manipulation. And I'm not gonna touch that subject on this channel this evening. I'm gonna leave that alone because it's Sunday. I'm trying to halfway get to heaven, so I'm gonna do right. I'm not gonna start no mess on here tonight. But I'm just saying he made a good point of saying we all have, manipulated people at some point in our lives. So none of us can say we're exempt from never doing something to say, I want to try to get this, and maybe if I do this or say this, I can get my little way or get this out of a person. We're all guilty. So long as you're human, you're guilty of doing something. It's just the way it goes. But those are my said updates and stories. I really don't have much I wanted to discuss besides those said stories. I was sitting here thinking before I jumped on, what would I like to discuss this evening? And I don't really have much because I want to stop talking about the queen. I'll quit talking about the queen and that mess on the date site. We got to find something else to talk about. Because that, I must say, tonight I was pondering getting off of The one site that I'm on, I was thinking about that. Oh yeah, Sonia, you're right. Well, see, that's the thing about Sonia. We as people have to talk to the children. Our children, we have to tell them who they can open the door for, who they can't. But one thing, as we learned with a certain case out of Alabama, never say what a child will or will not do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you seem to forget, if we as adults can change our minds about dealing with people, we can change our mind about a situation and we'll swear for God we won't do this, say this again, and then we go on and do it. Why in the world would you think a child wouldn't have the discretion to say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do this? Because they're a child. And you can't speak for what a child will or won't do. Right. Children are going to be children. That's right. So you can't say who a child will go with. A child won't want into somebody's house or car. You offer them the right item, your child will go with them. Your child wants some new shoes. Your child hungry. Your child want a new doll. Your child want an Xbox. Well, let the right one come along and tell your child, hey, I got a new Xbox and some games. You just come right over here and I give it to you. Now, you might get one child that's a little leery, depending on if they're older. And they might say, huh? You giving it away? Why? Oh, I don't need it. I don't want it. I got an extra. Well, if he or she is curious, he will go. He will go to the car, the van, the person's home. Right. Exactly, Nigel. But see, that's the thing. A lot of people not teaching their children. Right. Okay, Sonia, you're down there in Alabama. Okay. Right. And that's a prime example of what I'm saying. Because you remember the father said she ain't that type of girl. Cupcake ain't that type of girl. Well, first of all, you talking about her like she was a teenager, an adult. Camille was a baby. She was considered a toddler. So you can't say what a toddler would and would not do. You can't, there's no way you could speak for a child that young what she would and would not do. Okay, because as I say, we're grown people. And every day I say something about what I'm not going to do. And next thing I know, I'm doing it. Right. No matter how much you drill them, they will go outside the box. And that's the part about being a human being. You have the right to change your mind, even if you don't think it's a good idea. You don't think it's a great idea. You don't think it's safe. We have all done stuff that we should not have done, gone places out at a certain time of night, wandering around looking for somebody late night, using a phone late night, going to a phone booth late night, going down a street, an alley. People have done it for years. So you can't, definitely, you cannot say what a child would not do. I know what a child wouldn't do. Right, because it's a child. It's a child. And we as adults do stupid stuff. You know, I'm just keeping it real. Right. Angie Wi-Fi. Hello. I'm so glad you all are joining me. I need to get more men in this chat. I need some men to give me their 411 and their opinion about some things. Because it'd be nice to have, more men join in. Yes, yes. And I'll be glad when that case starts back, when they get us a go ahead on that said case out of Alabama, because it'd be nice to get that case out of the way and get it on the docket so there can be a resolution um to that case. Camille and Anaya Blanchard. It'd be nice to get a resolution to those cases. What else would you all like to discuss? I'm trying to think of some other topics that we can discuss because I've asked some Facebook friends to join in, and I guess I'm kind of, I don't know, I feel some type of way. I think I advertise, every blue moon, Facebook, Instagram about people watching me on YouTube. And then once I talk to somebody personally, they'll tell me, well, no, I don't watch your channel. No, it's kind of like, wow, how, you don't watch the channel. So I'm just posting this stuff because I don't have anything better to do. My thing is, it's one thing hoping that hundreds of thousands of strangers will watch the channel, go into YouTube and watch the channel. Being monetized now, more people can come across my channel. But for you to be somebody I know of, you've seen me advertise the channel on Facebook with me putting the links up there of the said video. I mean, it's really disheartening, but it's I don't know. The Watts case. Oh, I talked about that. You talking about the case out west? The case out west. I talked about the Netflix movie that was done pertaining to that case. If it's about the man that killed his wife and the children, I did do a video a couple months ago about the Netflix um, text messages, which was very disturbing to me. I don't know. Watching that Netflix movie really creeped me out. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little. As I've been told by somebody once before, you're a little bit rough around the edges. Yes, it is a big case. I'm a little rough around the edges. I mean, I can be very sweet and kind, but yes, I'm opinionated and sometimes I give people the 411. But what people don't know is I don't ever come out like just nasty, because I listen to all type of buffoonery every day. And trust me, I don't come out the bag to people like, you a dodo bird or you effing this. No, I don't do that. I listen. I may give my opinion, but that's as far as I'm gonna go. A lot of times I listen to people talk. I'm gonna say nothing. I just listen. Oh, okay, well, whatever. Yeah. Well, my thing about being blunt is you have to choose how to word things to people because people will get easily offended. Because I said something to a neighbor the other day. I wasn't trying to tell her what to do. I was just telling her you have to be careful saying things to people when they really don't want your help. Thank you, Nitra. Thank you. Because she kind of thought maybe I was telling her what she can say to people. I wasn't trying to tell her what she should and shouldn't say. I said, but you got to pick and choose when to know that what you're saying is going in one ear and out the other. If you see a person not doing anything to help themselves, let's say, and you've talked to this person about their problems, and they keep coming to you complaining about their problems, then why do you keep giving them advice about what they should do about their personal life? There comes a point, like I just said, when you say to yourself, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to listen because she's not hearing nothing I'm saying. No way. And she had made a point of telling the girl something about getting a tire for a car. Yeah, I'm going to put it out there. She don't watch the channel. No way. She don't know the name of the channel, so it don't matter. Thank you. Thank you. But you know what I'm saying? You see how people live every day. You see how people carry themselves every day. So if you see that a person don't care nothing about themselves, they don't care anything about their children and the betterment of their children, and they're having baby daddy issues or whatever, there comes a point when you should say to yourself, I'm not going to say anything to her about her baby daddy, how she look, how she carrying herself, how she raising the children. Just don't say nothing. Because I'm one of them kind of people. Once I realize you don't care about yourself, I'm not going to talk to you about nothing you going through. Do you get what I'm saying? You can call, you can cry, and I might be like, okay. Do you see what I'm saying? I told her that perhaps this person, right, let grown people be grown. Hey, pallets and pugs, how you doing? You right, you got to let grown people be grown. Once you see that a person is not doing what they need to do to better his or her circumstances, they're only moaning and complaining and mad at the world, whatever, okay, then you let them wallow in that and let them go on. If they don't want to better themselves, they don't want to get a tire for their car, you think that they should, you think that they should care more about their children or whatever it is, just don't say nothing else about it. That's what I would do. Hey, okay, it's just like a person sick. Let me go here. Draining is right. A person is sick. They know they sick. They don't want to take their medicine. but they're going to tell you they sick. Damn, they're definitely ill, perhaps. Well, why are you telling people that you sick, but you won't take the medicine prescribed for you? I'll wait. You know your situation better than I do. You know your health better than I do. So if you won't take your medicine that's prescribed to you to help better your life and sustain life, then why in the hell are you going to go out here into la la land and tell people that you ill? And then the person would ask, well, did you take the medicine? Did you go get your medicine? And then the person tell you, no, I ain't take that because I don't like that. And I don't like the way it make me feel. And I don't like that. Okay, but you in a serious situation where you needed it so you can breathe. So whatever it's about, same thing with blood pressure medicine. You know you need blood pressure medicine. You know your heart is racing. You know you have to take it. Then why aren't you taking it? Don't cry, moan, and say, well, I about had a stroke, about fell out, about passed out. My heart racing. And then you know, too, you're not eating right. And then you're going to say, yeah, I need to go get the medicine. Well, you go everywhere else you want to go. Just saying. You don't think to call the doctor to say, hey, buddy, can you write me a 3-month prescription or whatever for my medicine? I ain't trying to say nobody needs you. I swear. Look, I keep telling people, Big Edge is not in the saving people business. I have done all I'm going to do at 49. Let me tell you, God, let me see 50 next month. Oh, you talk about a new queen. I said it every year. What I ain't going to do. And then I fall back in the trap of being too nice or giving somebody a second chance or, honey, Oh, she's my neighbor, Sonia. You didn't join the live the other day when I told everybody who she actually is. The vanishing lady is my neighbor. I don't know her personally. She right across the parking lot in the building over there in the other building. Yes, ma'am. I believe I saw her the other day in her little car. Mm-hmm. The vanishing woman who went to Africa and got stranded and got sick is my neighbor, for those who do not know that. Please go back to my old videos where I do at least 3 videos on the vanishing woman, which I think those are really good videos. Homegirl married a guy old enough to be her grandson, and she went over there to Africa and got hoodwinked and bamboozled. But I do believe she was hoodwinked and bamboozled before she bought the plane ticket, because there's no way she did not know how that boy was living over there, because naturally she's video chatting with him via, Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever. So you know what he had and didn't have. Taylor Williams' mom. I have no idea. Still in jail, I guess, baby. Still in jail down there in Florida. Taylor Williams. All kind of buffoonery. All kind of buffoonery. Oh, the things I could tell you, the things I want to tell you, but I can't right now because of the situation that I'm in currently. But there'll be some other updates I'll bring you, possibly dealing with my life personally. When I get a final result of everything, I may bring some shenanigans aboard, but I will wait. Maybe she will get COVID. Well, honey, I ain't trying to wish COVID on the lady now. But you're right. She was traveling at a time when COVID jumped off, because COVID jumped off, they are believing, between the month of November and December in China. So, wait a minute. That was coming into 2020. Okay. So, she didn't get back to the States until what? January? February? Okay. Oh, you crazy. I'm talking about Taylor's mom. Girl, stop. I ain't gonna wish that on her, because if I wish that on her, I might wake up tomorrow and have COVID. So I'm not gonna wish no COVID on her. But I don't wish her well. And I know that's not the Christian thing to have to think, but I don't care for anybody that murders a baby. And there's too much evidence on that queen that she orchestrated this demise of her child. Because one thing I do not understand about that case is if the police went in the house and said it smelled so bad in there, how is it the people who moved her, the people she hired off of Craigslist, you didn't smell urine and boo-boo when you walked in that apartment to get that little $250, $300 she was paying you to move, or however much she paid you. You was that thirsty for the money that you walked into that stinking apartment and you didn't notice how bad it smelled in there. No, you know what it is, nature? It's the good old boy system of I'm thirsty, I'm hungry for money, and it don't matter that I smell something rank, I'm going to get this money, move her stuff out of here, and keep it pushing. And that's what happened with Anaya. You saw that boy pushing her in that car, and you didn't stop and say and do nothing. You wait to go tell the police after the fact, and Anaya is already halfway down the interstate. God knows what shape she was in. She could have been apprehended in the car had you called the police and gave a description of the car and said, I saw a guy pushing a girl in a car at the gas station. I'm just calling because I don't know what's really going on. Who's to say her car couldn't have been intercepted by law enforcement? But you can't go back now, see, because you didn't never call the police. Same thing with them two dirty birds who went in that apartment. Now, mind you, it is believed that the baby was already dead when they came to the apartment to move the stuff out. When I backtracked my notes, she was already dead because she had just got back, I believe, from dumping the baby in Alabama when she got back to the apartment that morning and then went on Craigslist and put the ad up to get help to move the stuff out the apartment. So Taylor was already dead. So in this instance, if they had gone to authorities, I don't think it would have mattered. The baby was already dead. You know, when I go back in my mind with the timeline of her coming home from Alabama and going to Craigslist. Oh, I've been to every spot he took her at. Wait, what you mean where he took her, Sonya? How you know what you mean every place he took her? How you know what every place he took her? Right, if you see something, say something. Well, see, that's what's wrong with a lot of us. We too scared to talk. We don't want to tell people stuff. Okay, I'm going to give you all a for instance. I know a lot of people will probably start watching my videos and they're going to probably start thinking, this heifer talking about me on her channel. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Because when I see that you're just stupid and you're doing stupid stuff, you act stupid. Yeah, I'm going to use you as an example on my channel. Why not? Why not? Why not? Out shopping a couple of months ago. A hatchback is open in a shopping center. Somebody's hatchback is open, okay? Now, I noticed the hatchback open. I'm looking around, don't see the person who the car belongs to. So I'm assuming the person walked into the Ross or store, whatever, and forgot it. There are parcels and things in the car. Well, the person I'm with don't want to touch the car. No, you shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. They may be what? There's a lady sitting in her car watching us, so she can see that nobody's trying to steal anything out the car. I just said, well, don't you think somebody need to close his trunk, so nobody goes in there and steal anything and or steal the car? See, I wasn't thinking negative that it would turn on me by shutting the hatch. So then I said, well, let's call the store. So I called once in the store, waited, nobody came out to the car. So then I think she called again. This person would call and said, or another person called and said, hey, there's somebody's hatch out here. I believe they're in this store. So then finally a lady comes out. The problem I have is that, why are you so shaky? Damn, you scared to do the right thing for once in your life? Yeah, I'm saying it. Because if it was your car, oh, they would have had a field day up in your car. Yeah, I said it. Because you keep lots of goodies in your car. And you'd been sick to death had they took everything out of your car. And nobody was thoughtful enough to close the hatch down of your SUV. There are just times why I tell people I just get tired of fooling with folks that act like they don't got no damn sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? Treat people the way you want to be treated. Stop thinking about yourself all the damn time. Think about somebody else because that could have been your car and you've been sick if somebody had a rummage and stole everything out of your car because you forgot the hatch up on your car. You're not doing anything wrong, illegal. You close the hatch down, it's over with. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I understand the flip side is somebody could have went in there and stole something out the car, left something else, and then you touch the car and your fingerprints on there, then they go say somebody stole something out the car, now your fingerprints is on the car. Well, 9 times out of 10, somebody else's fingerprints is on there too. And most shopping centers got surveillance cameras in the parking lot. I can't say if right there where we were, they would have had security cameras. But like I said, I don't think like that. I just thought, well, we close the hatch and go about our business. We're not getting ready to sit here and hang around. We getting ready to go. So we just close the hatch and keep on going. There was a lady sitting in a car. So she would have witnessed us, closing the hatch. And that been the end of that. But you know what? You learn people. That's all I'm going to say. You learn people. And I always say they act like that once, they'll do it again. And I've been shown that. And so I'm grateful that I got a learning experience. Just certain people you just can't be around. Because they don't have, they don't have that gut in them to say, let me go ahead and write thing because I see this hatch up on this car. Let me put it down so nobody won't steal the woman's stuff or the man's stuff out their car. My goodness gracious. Come on now. Just silly. But that's the way it is. What y'all want to talk about? You want to talk about family? You want to talk about trifling family members? We can just go gutter today. Want to talk about people living around you, not really your family? They're related to you, but they're not your family. Because, there's a difference between a relative and a family member. I could be related to you, but you're not my family. You could be a distant relative, but we are not like family. You don't think of me, I don't think of you. You don't call, I don't call you. Do you all have some of those people around you? I'm just saying. Because I got relatives everywhere. But I'm not close to them because my family on both sides decided that they didn't want to keep a bond with the people, which, didn't have anything to do with me. So I don't know these people. I may know their names, but I don't know them. That's right. Blood don't make us family. But I think it's sad to live in a town where you actually have people who are married into your family. They married an actual relative of yours, but they don't say hello. They don't call you. They don't do anything for you. And not that you're asking for anything, not nothing like money or nothing like that, but just could be a minute favor. And they don't answer the phone. They don't call. I've seen some things. I just shakes my head like, wow. And you supposed to be related to me. Wow, okay, well. Nietzsche said I moved away from mine. Well, Nietzsche, where I'm at, I really don't have no relatives where I am. So it doesn't matter to me at this point who speaks, don't speak, call, because I've been the type of person, I've been mostly, a loner. So I didn't never get into, chasing people for friendship, chasing people for camaraderie. That's not my type of high. I'm just a go-getter. I do me. I don't look for people chasing folks, trying to make them like me, whether I'm related to them or a neighbor, whatever. This is not my style. And my thing is, nobody should have to chase you if you're related to them. You should want to bond with somebody that you're related to regardless. We're not talking about strangers in the street. We're not talking about your next door neighbor, your neighbor in an apartment complex. Okay, you married my grandmama's uncle, let's say, whomever. We're distant relatives, but we still related. Act like it. But like I said, I'm not the type to get offended. Okay, you don't speak, you won't answer your phone. You ask me to go somewhere with you, but you won't even answer your damn phone to confirm the appointment. Yeah, I'm telling folks business. I'm telling folks business because I don't care. Why should I not? Why should I care? Right. And everybody's different. And I could really spin a story about that, but I really don't want to go there because that dredges up a lot of old feelings about when my father passed away, how folks showed out and acted. But my thing is, I'm not going to chase people for any type of friendship. It doesn't matter if I'm related to you. It doesn't matter if my mother gave birth to you. It doesn't matter who you are. That's just me. I just feel like a lot of us have wasted time turning the other cheek, trying to, as I say, go back into the belly of the beast, trying to make things work with people we're related to or friends with, and you realize it's nothing there. And you can't make something be there. Because a lot of people love to quote Bible scriptures about what you should do as a Christian, how you should turn the other cheek. So I always say, well, how many times did God want me to turn it? Because ain't got but two. So how many times I'm gonna keep turning it? Because see, I think God didn't intend for you to be a fool. He asked you to forgive someone. But nowhere in that book did he tell you to be a fool or a doormat. And that's where people get the scripture mixed up. They find out you fell out with somebody, you had a disagreement, you don't like each other, whatever it is. Oh my God, I hear you going serious now. You can forgive someone if you can find it in your heart, but it does not mean that you should go back and deal with them. And this is where most Americans get the scripture mixed up. They say, well, God said you supposed to forgive them. Okay. How you know I didn't forgive them? I don't have to explain that to you because I don't owe you an explanation about who I will and will not forgive. But what I'm not going to do is continue to be a doormat and a doorknob and a dodo bird to appease you and the community and other people because you don't have to deal with the people, you see. Because that's the thing people don't understand about dealing with people. The relationship that you have with Joe Blow, it's not the same relationship that somebody else who's related to them has. I understand. So everybody's not going to get along. And I'm going to say that right, Nietzsche. So if you see that you dealt with somebody and you cannot get along with them, you have honestly tried to get along with he, she, whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with staying to yourself. Now, you don't have to hate them because I know it takes time to not hate a person when you feel like they have wronged you. And everybody has a different perception of what is right and wrong and who wronged whom. Because we know that when you go to people and say, well, I don't like what you did or said, and the first thing they say is, well, I don't remember going down like that. And I didn't mean it like that. Okay, cool. But like they say, don't knock a person for their perception. Because everybody has a right to a perception. And so when people feel like their perception has been dismissed, that's where the problem comes in. And that's why people can't meet in the middle because you don't think you did or said anything wrong. And this person is still holding on to what they think you did or believe you did or said to them. Well, Carolyn, ain't nothing you can do, baby, but just pray about it and you just let it go. But I do have a problem with people who, really are not genuinely being a friend. They're not genuinely being a relative. And I can always say that's okay because Queen is the type, she's only going to go so far with you. I'm only going to go so far. And if I see that you're being facetious in any type of way, I will cut you loose. It is not personal. I'm doing what is best for Queen. Because you see, I can't walk around trying to snuff your tail out and I'm not getting anything in return. You see, you're not going to be bothered with me when it's convenient. And I have noticed a lot of people have done me that way in friendships, courtships. You answer the phone when you feel like it. You be bothered when you feel like it. And then you think you can jump on and call my number when it is convenient for you. But I don't work like that. You're not going to just call me and think I'm going to jump up Johnny on the spot and be accessible to you to do anything. And you don't have to be related to me for me to feel that way. Because I know a lot of people who do me like that. They only call when it is convenient. Or they got to tell me who shot JR, who hurt, who's sick. Oh, I got something for you. Woo, woo, woo. But let me decide I want to call them. They unavailable. They busy. They this. Okay, cool. Well, know that there will be a time that when you call, the Queen will not answer. Well, and a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are like that. And I have learned also that sometimes you meet people that you think you're really cool with. They could actually have been doing nice things for you. And you're thinking, dang, we got a good thing going. We cool. But then you start noticing little things that's on the sly. And it could be little commentary. It could be them getting impatient, dealing with you, waiting on. It could be anything. And you realize, well, damn, what's the attitude about? But they don't say nothing. But they may give little sly comments. Well, see, nature, you don't really know people wishy-washy until they start acting wishy-washy. You could be dealing with somebody for months, a year, and they seem cool. And then one day you look up, shit, they don't answer the phone when you call. They never return a phone call. And see, like I've told you all, I'm the type of queen, I'm not going to beat down no woman's telephone. I only going to call you back more than once if I was wanting something, wanting a favor, something. But just instead of ringing your phone, no. Because most people have seen when you call. You leave a text, they will eventually see the text. You call through Messenger, they'll see when you call through Messenger. Okay, I learned to give what I get. Okay, well, I hear you, nature. I'm just saying. But I'm just one of them type of people. I'm not getting ready to chase down no female for no friendship. I'm not getting ready to chase down no man for no companionship. You have to know when to say to yourself, well, I've tried reaching out. They did not respond. That's cool, and you accept that. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to feel bad. You don't have to go in a corner and cry, punch the wall. You just say, well, I know I did my part. I tried. I've done all I can do. Same thing with going back and forth with relatives, friends, associates. You can only jump in the well so many times trying to revive and resuscitate something that was dead all along. And you know that when something is dead, it can't come back. So why are you still beating on it? Why are you still trying to suction life out of something that is dead? And we as people do that because we feel obligated when it's a good friend, old friend, family member, sister, brother. You know how people like to jump in, put their 2 cents in. Well, that's your sister, that's your brother. And okay, but if you see that we don't get along, why is you trying to aid something that's not there? Who said that you cut folks off with no hesitation? What? Who said that? Nature. Well, and that's it. Because see, everybody's not made the same. I know people right now who will aid their children in crazy buffoonery and they stay in trouble and they're right there. They're right there to where their children have brought them downhill. Their family members have brought them downhill. And you got people who will suck the life out of you because you don't know how to say no. I cannot do that for you. I can no longer give you money. I can no longer aid you. I can no longer bail you out of jail. I can no longer be that, your crutch. Well, and what people do, And let me tell you something about aiding people. You will eventually look like an old dust rag, and your body will be an old dust rag because you did not learn to leave well enough alone. Now you got people who will say, "But that's my family. They all I got." Okay, but are you treated like you all they got? Do they treat you like you the lifeline? Because you see, you should want to be treated as such. Now, some people can forgive people for things they've done to them, said about them, and I commend anybody who can find in their heart forgiveness, because forgiveness is a hard thing. Some people think it's easy, but it's not. It may be easy for some folks, depending on what the issues are, but some people do not easily forgive. I will admit, I'm one of those queens. I can hold a grudge. I'm going to go and tell it. I can hold a grudge. I sure can. I sure can. I sure can. And I'm just saying, as you get older, things change. Sometimes you become more lax in your behavior. You don't worry as much. Okay, Sonia. Good night, baby. Take care. You got some people who can, easily forgive and move on. Then you got some people who, as they get older, they become stern. They don't want to be bothered. And they just say, the hell with everybody. I ain't worried about nobody. I'm just going to do me and worry about me. That's why I say everybody is different. I got 12 in the room. 17 thumbs up. Thank you very kindly. Well, and that's another thing that you mentioned, favorites. Some people have favorites in their family. Some people favor their children over their other children, which I don't think that's right. To favor your child over another child because it is wrong. And this is how animosity brews amongst children and siblings. You treat one children different because maybe one is what you would deem prettier, a different skin tone. You had a good relationship with their father, but you didn't have a good relationship with the other child's father. These are all the different reasons that people favor the children. One child is more athletic than the other one, smarter than the other one. You don't do that. One child may have been sick most of his or her life. So you doted more on that child. People doted on that child because that child was ill growing up. So now your other children have been left to the dust because you've paid more attention to the sicker child. But you cannot dishonor your other children because you see they didn't ask to come here. Just like the sick child didn't ask to come here and be sick. And I don't believe in favoritism in your children because your children will grow up and they will treat the other child the same malicious way you treat that child. And to this day, you have people who are now old. And if you were to go to them and say, well, you treated me different than you did your other children, they'll swear for God they did not. No, I did not. I loved all of you the same. But we know that's not true. And see, a lot of times, they will not own it. And the other children won't own it. And then you have children who continue the cycle. Then you have parents who, Lord have mercy, I can go on and on. Just won't own it. They die knowing they did not treat their children the same. And that's a terrible, terrible thing. That's why you have to learn to try to do right by your children, do right by yourself, because you don't never know what shape you're going to be in, and you don't know that the day that you become ill, the main one that you treated wrong will possibly be the one there for you in your dying days, will possibly be the one to take care of you when you are sick. And the ones that you favored are nowhere to be found to aid in your care. And people don't think about that. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people don't contend with their family members when they become sick. They put them in nursing homes because they don't want to look at them or they don't want to be bothered with them. I've seen it. I went and took care of a lady a few years ago. That was around 2 years ago, November. I was hired to take care of an elderly lady, and it was only for a couple of days. And she had a stern mouth on her, and she didn't have a good relationship with her children, her daughters. One daughter she had cut off that had a disagreement about that daughter taking care of her. She claimed to the agency that the daughter wasn't doing right by her and wasn't taking care of her uh, properly. So then the other daughter was staying with her, and then she moved out and moved down the street. So what I didn't understand was one, why the second daughter moved out of the house and moved into a duplex down the street, and then this lady is soliciting people to come sit with her and take care of her while her daughter is down the street in walking distance and would not come see about her mother, whose house she just moved out of. And you know she moved out of that house because she didn't want to be bothered with her own mother. She didn't want to have to take care of her mother, bathe her, wipe her, contend with her. Do you hear what I'm saying? And the day I met that daughter, I telling you, I thought I was gonna pass out. That daughter walked in that front door. I was sitting in that little room with that lady, and that daughter walked in that door, and that heifer walked in there with her hair all on top of her head, looking like she had just stuck her hand in an electric socket. And I thought, what in God's green earth is this? Just walked up in here. You could tell. Oh, she cared about herself. Just a pilgrim living on the land. So you know she wasn't about to do right by her own mama. She didn't care about her own self, how she was looking, you know? And I had went in the room where she had been staying, and naturally it was an empty room. There was a piece of carpet laying on the floor that had cigarette burns in it. And I thought, what type of grown person will put the cigarette out in the carpet? Ain't your mama taught you better manners than this? Maybe she didn't care. Do you see what I'm saying? She stayed up in that woman's house, putting her damn cigarettes out on that good carpet. So what I saw in that spare room versus what I saw standing in the door told me everything I need to know. You don't have respect for yourself. Your mama has a harsh tongue. She didn't teach you all no manners. It's just generation for generation repeating the same damn cycle. Mama crazy. She rearing children that's obviously dysfunctional and don't care nothing about themselves and how they look. And it was sad. And the woman wouldn't pay me my money. And I told her, I don't do this for free. This is my profession. I cannot come and take care of you. You will not pay me my money. Okay. So I told her I had to leave her. So then they end up hiring a caregiver from a company to come work for her. And you should know, them people were not showing up because my phone rang damn near every morning from that lady asking me to come to her to change her diaper. And I said, no, ma'am, I cannot. Because it took you days for you to pay me my money for the days that I did work for you. So there's no way I'm coming in the cold to turn your big self over for free. And that's the spoken word. You see, in the end, that lady didn't have a good rapport with her children, and she didn't have her children to tend to her as children should for their sick and dying parent. And then in the end, she had an agency send in workers who I know did not show up because they did not want to lift her and change her dirty diapers. Because let me tell you, I was an eyewitness to one of them dirty diapers, and it was hellacious. And so you imagine being a person trying to lift this person up who's heavier than I am. Right. I'm trying to lift this person, change her. She's not trying to give me no strength to move to where I can lift her to change her. Because you see, if you're not going to willingly turn, I can't change your diaper. I can't change your sheets. I can't dress you because you're not willing to pull up. And that's what was one of the problems. Now, I don't know if she's just being lazy or what, but I told myself this lady is going to die a bad death because what's going to happen is whomever comes in, they are not going to fool with this foolishness. And naturally, I'm a plus size woman. So you don't have no guarantee that the workers that come in are going to be plus size. You're not going to be able to get a petite person to come in there and lift a heavy woman. Dress her, change her, turn her to do her sheets. There's no way in a hospital bed. And I know the workers weren't showing up because why would she be calling me at 8 a.m. to say nobody has shown up yet? I really need my diaper changed, Miss Angie. Could you please come up here and change my diaper? And I said, ma'am, I cannot do that because I do not work for you. And when I did work for you, it took you too long to pay me. And I cannot risk my health and my time doing that for you. And it was sad to have to tell somebody that. But see, this is what people don't understand about trying to do right by people. You see what I'm saying? Okay? You now have a company to bring people in to work for you. So that is on the company's responsibility to have adequate staff. You understand what I'm saying? To come in and take care of this lady. That was no longer my problem. And obviously, these people didn't want to show up for work. And I knew what it was about. As soon as she started calling my phone, I said, oh, yeah. They done went in there and realized this lady is heavy and she's boo-booing on herself and the movements are horrible. And they like, oh, no, we out of here. Come on now. Come on now. And let me tell you, that lady called me more than twice to come up to her house in the AM and change her diaper. See, you don't never know how you're going to end up in life. This is why you have to learn how to treat people right. Because she had two daughters who were able to take care of her. They did not work full time because the one who was living with her, I believe she had some mental issues, but she could have easily took care of her mother. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then the other daughter was doing the work for her. So that means she wasn't working anywhere else full time because she at one time was working for the mother. So you have two children who are able bodied that could have came in and alternated taking care of the mother. And each bowed out. One fell out with the mother because the mother called the agency owner. And then the second daughter was living with her and she moved out. And that's a cold heifer. But I can't speak of what the dynamics were of that relationship because the woman she had a smart tongue and a real smart mouth. A real smart mouth. Hello, Moonstone. How are you? Hello, Moonstone. I thank you all for joining me. But this is why I say why you need to treat people while you're above ground because you don't never know what shape you're going to be in. And you do not want to be out here having children that could help and take care of you, but you don't know how to treat them. You don't know how to talk to them. And now you're bedridden and they bow out, walk off, and don't help you. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. And I tell myself, I pray I don't ever end up needing somebody to bathe me and change no diaper. I'd rather be dead, I'm telling you the truth. Because I do not want to lay in my own soil undergarments and stuff. Right, no love there. Was none. But I think the lady didn't treat her children well. Because as I say to you, she had a very nasty attitude and mouth. And it had been said that she was like that in life. She was not a very nice lady. So naturally, she didn't treat her children well. So in the end, here she is bedridden, being released from a nursing home where she should have stayed because she wanted to be at home, but she didn't have the help. So, that's just a little short snippet of the queen's life. But, that's why I tell people, treat people the way you want to be treated. So that's why I don't revel in foolishness with people. Once I see the signs that people are acting funny acting, talking, want to start being snide with you, cutting you off, downplaying what you're saying, not really interested in what you're talking about or complaining about, I bow out. I don't say nothing else to them. I don't complain to them. I don't tell them what I'm going through. I don't say nothing. I mean, if they call and one foot was on fire, I wouldn't tell them. I'd be like, everything good. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta say, I'm gonna wallow through it on my own, pray about it. But I ain't getting ready to tell this one and that one what I'm going through and what's on my mind. I'll just keep it to myself. And sometimes, as I've told you all, it is best to keep certain things to yourself too. You got to know when to not tell folks your business. Because everybody is not rooting for you. And I've learned that in life. Everybody's not your friend. Everybody's not your family. Everybody's not your neighbor. Everybody is not your friend. Everybody's not wishing you well on your job, your marriage, your endeavors, period. You have to know when to weed them out. And let me tell you something about them demons. They will let you know they don't mean you no good. It don't take long to put two and two together. It starts with just a little sly ass comment. Excuse my language. Because people can be real slick, honey, with their commentary. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So what I do is I'll let you go and get it out, but you won't keep getting it out because I'm not gonna listen to it. I tell people I don't chase people for friendship. I never have. I've never been that type that I was lonely for friends. I just don't do it. I don't put up with it. And it don't matter if it was friendly. It don't matter if it was a relative. I'm not gonna chase people, and I'm not gonna put up with crazy talk. I'm not gonna put up with nasty attitudes. I'm just not. I'm too old. Just like I've explained to you all, with the issues with the trying to get a mate, to get a husband. It's all the same. I don't have that patience. I don't have the time. Well, that's right. Because really, they ain't in the front row. They really in the balcony. Shit. They perpetrating. Ooh, girl, that's a good one. Sometimes it's best to stand back and watch a painting rather than be in it. That's the truth. That's the truth. True. You got to know when to fold. Let's talk about baby daddies. That's a subject I ain't never talked about on this channel. Let's talk about a trifling ass baby daddy. Issues I don't have. So before y'all get to wondering, no, honey. No. This ain't now about the queen. Somebody else's story. Your baby daddy don't want to do right by you. Your baby daddy don't want to help pay child support because you need the support at this moment because you're going through some things financially due to, of course, COVID and the work you do, yah. Your baby daddy wants to get ripe and violent with you because you have decided to take child support out on him. Now, you know that ain't right. Put your hands on a woman because she decided to go to the state to file child support. But that's her right because she has children to take care of. And you are not doing your part, so she had to do what she had to do. The fact that you allegedly been messing around with other women, trying to sleep with somebody that she knows, and yet she still fool with you anyway. Like I told somebody, you can't tell the queen what to do because she's going to do what she want to do. But her children come first, so everything else should be off the table. I will no longer worry about the baby daddy. I will no longer worry about having a relationship with him. I will not care who he is slumbering with. If he decides to make more children because his ass is too old to still make children in the first place. No man near 50 should have 2 and 3-year-olds. I said it. I said it. When you almost 50, why do you want toddlers? You don't work anywhere full time. You also have other children, 6 or so children. What do you want with some toddlers? Yes, they have daily needs. And this is why nobody needs to be rearing children and cannot provide for them. And naturally, a woman or man or guardian will have to go to the state, need be, for medical care, housing, food stamps, daycare. Because as I've told people 1,000 times, they don't pay you enough to rear no children today. You don't have any viable skills. You don't have a degree. You are going to be on the sidelines with yourself. Now you factor in you have children. So you can't pay rent somewhere. You can't pay light bills somewhere. How you getting ready to take care of a child who has to eat, go to daycare, get vaccinations, see a doctor, God forbid a specialist. You got to drive a car. You need car insurance. You need gas. You also need life insurance for yourself and your children. Y'all see where I'm going? When you count up all the little bills, they become big bills. And you have to make enough money to pay all those due bills. So a grown-ass man needs to be just as responsible as a woman. You don't need to be out here making babies that you do not want. You need to wear a condom. You don't want to be nobody's baby daddy that put a condom on. Don't nobody care nothing about you want to feel the real deal. You ain't worried about feeling the real deal 9 months later. And then 18 years on, that's the real deal. Be responsible. Same thing for a young lady. That having babies by a man who don't want you, that's right, you have to be careful. You like this man, so now you laying with him without an umbrella, and you get knocked up, and then you get knocked up again, and then God forbid you get knocked up some more. Now you got somebody who cannot provide for these children because you see he has other children that came before the ones you had with them. So one could say, well, why did you get pregnant by a man that you knew had children already and he wasn't taking care of them? Because one, he don't work nowhere full time. He's not clocking into a real job where he gets a pay stub, paycheck. So what did you benefit by having children with him? So you all set up some type of agreement. You pay this, we cool. But now he can no longer oblige you with what he agreed to pay for with the children. Now he's feeling some type of way. You've been offered to go somewhere with your parents to live out of town, upstate. That's probably what you should do. Pack up your things and take your children and go up north or go wherever and better your circumstances. Well, that's right, half-assed, and this is true. And that's what young women don't understand. And as I told somebody here recently, I think this person don't want help from anybody, and they don't like asking for help, but you cannot be in that type of mode of thinking that you don't want to ask for help because you're not in a predicament to just get by. You have rent to pay, a light bill to pay, food, which you're probably getting, food stamps or whatever. But in the end, it's all the same. You're having to provide for children, and you cannot do it alone. And the other party is not carrying the weight. Yes, we all need help. This is true. But see, like I said, where I have the problem is that you're trying to make this man be something that he never was when you met him. He was tainted when you got him. You had to know that. And yet you laid down and made 2 children. Why? Why? Now you miserable. Because he ain't doing what he said he was going to do. And you still want to focus on that. Let it go. Go to school, get your education. That's right. Go to school, get an education, and try to find you a full-time job that pays well. Because you now have 2 and you're paying market rent. You don't got no HUD. So you need to be making something like $16 or more, $18 an hour to help pay for your children. And you need to be going to school because that's the only way you're going to make it is you get some type of education. Now, if you want to stay in the healthcare field or whatever, you possibly need to get you a nursing degree. So what you need to be doing instead of chasing them behind him and worrying about him is put your little tail between your legs and go apply for schooling, nursing, if that's what you like, or whichever career, and move on. This state is cheaper to live in Tennessee. That's why a lot of people migrate to Tennessee. This is one of the cheapest states to live in the United States. And if you have a degree in a chosen field, you can live very well in this state. This is where people come to retire from up north, out west, Chicago, Detroit. This is where people come to retire. They want to see the Smoky Mountains. They want to be near the mountains. They want to be near the milder weather. You understand what I'm saying? The cheaper rent, cheaper everything here. So that's why people flock here. So you barely living here, only making $8 an hour, $7-something. Yeah, you're going to be behind. You're never going to have anything. You may not be as poor as people are in like Detroit or Chicago, because the poor here is different than the poor there. But you're still not leveling off to where you can be doing better if you had a trade or a degree or some type of certificate certifying that you can do something. So see, when you factor in having children, it's now worse. Because now you have mouths to feed, people to look after. And children need something every day. And then as they get older, they want to be a part of things. They want to go to school functions. They want to take trips. Now you need more money for athletic gear, field trips, dress attire, instruments, fees. You see where I'm going? And nobody thinks about that. Well, they do have to have stability. But somebody has to want to give it to them too. And this is why young women and men need to sit down and recognize you guys got to stop slumbering with people and having sexual relations with people and not using a condom. Melissa, where you been? Melissa, what you mean you got a 16-year-old? You look like you 16, talking about got a 16-year-old. You look young in your picture. Where you been hiding, girl? I ain't heard from you in months. Where have you been, Melissa? Thanks for joining me. Oh my God. I mean, girl, I saw that red hair. But where have you been, Queen? What have you been doing? Well, babies ain't never kept a man. I don't know why these young women keep having children by these men thinking that a man gonna stay because you had a baby. Honey, let me tell you something about a man, if you didn't know. A man can make 6, 7, 8 children with one female or different ones. And he will go out here and get with another chick with 5, 6 kids and be with her, with them kids, and might marry her with them kids. But wouldn't think to marry one of his own baby mama. Now you put that on paper. Right. And you're right. You think it's going to be different. And that's what's sad to me. And I was thinking about that when I watched that Love and Lockup show, that reality show. The one white guy that's messing with the girl who just got out of penitentiary. And he done made 5 or 6 kids with the other white girl, but never thought to marry her. And that girl said that to him. She says, I got this many kids by you, and you never thought to marry me? And then you go pick up a woman from the penitentiary and want to play house with her and marry her? But that girl had a good point. And it's not to throw shade on anybody with a criminal background, but it is common sense. You got a mother who you made a lot of babies with, and you didn't think to marry her, but then you'll go and be a pen pal to somebody locked up and want to chase him behind her, and now she out playing duck, duck, goose with you and facing going back to penitentiary for an old charge and just got out. Your priorities ain't straight. That's a man who ain't got no priorities. Because you got a mother who you could try to work with and be a father to those kids. And obviously he, allegedly takes care of his children. And I'm not trying to say a man should be with a woman just because he got kids with her, but I understood the baby mother's point that damn, I done made lots of kids with you, 20 years worth of children, and you ain't never thought about marrying me. So what made you want to go marry this stranger? And I understand her point, because that's crazy. Nitra, you so crazy. I have to switch the phone if my arms hurt. But this is the lies women we tell ourselves about these men. I keep telling you all, I'm seeing the signs as clear as day. Most of us are chasing in behind people who are unavailable mentally and physically, and we have nothing in common with them, and we are playing house with them. Because I've done it many moons ago. Liking somebody who ain't got nothing, letting them live in your house, lay with you, lay in your home, play house with you, and they can't provide eggs, butter, milk, bread, rent, electric, love, stability, kindness, maturity. He can't give it to you because he don't know himself. And like I said, I find it appalling when a man can lay down and have tons of children and he cannot choose not one damn baby mama to play house with. Well, I don't know how you would think quantity. You must just want to mess around. Well, but Nitra, these folks got a whole different mindset going on out here right now. But I will say I do have a problem with any man that lays up and makes numerous children and he never chooses not one baby mama. You want me to believe that out of all your baby mamas, it's not one that's decent enough that you could try to build a relationship with and lead to marriage? That's just odd to me. And I just refuse to believe that. And I understand that sometimes it's just sex. So it was nothing to build. You just met somebody, y'all hooked up, had sex, a baby came 9 months later. Then you went on, got you some goodies somewhere else. You knocked her up. Then you met another heifer, then you knocked her up. I'm moving with a woman and her children should be, oh. And you got men like that. They just baby makers. They just get with women because it's a hookup. And let's be truthful. That's really hurtful to get pregnant by somebody and it wasn't a relationship. Well, this is true too. Because you got to explain to your child where the father is. And you got to now explain to your child that, well, we had sexual relations and we didn't have a relationship. It wasn't love. And you were conceived from just sex. And when you think about it, it's a cold act, like an animal. Because animals mate. And what do? They walk off and they leave their young to fend for themselves. Not like what a human's supposed to do. So you see, it's cruelty in it. To hook up with somebody, get pregnant, and now you tell the father he don't want to be bothered. He won't speak to you. He don't believe you. He's belligerent. That ain't my baby. I don't know who you been with. You slept with me. You slept with him. I hear you did this. All type of craziness. Now you got to explain to that child when they're able to hear and understand English that your daddy ain't around because we didn't have anything. We was just a hookup. Now imagine trying to have that conversation with a child. And this is why I don't think a woman, after having one child, and let's say it was never a relationship, it was a hookup, whatever, you should not even want another baby with a man that you do not have a damn relationship with or not married to. Because do you want to keep having children and can't explain to them why they don't have a damn pappy? And we can sugarcoat it and say, oh, well, she made a mistake. You can't keep making them same mistakes year for year and have different babies and then have different fathers. Yes, because it hurts the children. Okay, Nick, you don't quit calling them children. You're so crazy, but it's the truth. And what's even worse? Hello, Michelle. Hello. What's even worse is, let's go here. Mommy decides to take up with a man, whether it be a relationship, a hookup, relationship, whatsoever, and that pappy does right by that child or more children. And now he's providing for these children, visiting, taking care of, buying them things. But then the child or children over here don't got a pappy, and they now see this other man coming visiting their kids and doing for those kids. You know how horrible that looks and how horrible they feel inside. Right, it's a habit over and over. You like it. As Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you? If you keep doing the same thing repetitively, it's a sign of insanity. So we all insane to some degree. But how horrible that would be as a child watching your other siblings' parents come by bringing clothes, shoes, gifts, and nobody's bringing you nothing. Nobody's bringing you birthday gifts. Nobody's coming to get you for the weekend or take you to the park or the zoo or McDonald's or to the mall. Only mama's doing that because you ain't got no daddy. You don't got no other relatives coming to say, yeah, I'm coming to get him for the weekend. I'll come get her for the weekend. I'll come get her for the night. I'll take her to the mall. I'll take her to church. But your other brothers and sisters got a daddy that's doing that. You know that's hurtful. You know that's hurtful. And it's even more despicable when you that male that will take up with another female who has children and they do not belong to you, and you will play house with a woman with a house full of kids, and you don't take care of your damn own children. You ain't right. And nothing good gonna come to you till you do right by your children. And that's the spoken word. Because your kids didn't ask to be here. And you look like a damn fool laying up with another woman, taking care of her kids, and you don't take care of your own children. Frankly, if I was a man that went out here making babies without a wife, there's no way in hell I'm getting ready to go get a sister with children. I would prefer that woman didn't have no kids. And I explained to her, it's up to you if you want to date me, but I do have other children by different women. Hi, Chi Chi, good to see you. I do have other children, and it's up to you if you want to date me. But I don't understand the rationale of a man taking up with a woman with a bunch of kids, and he already got a bunch of kids over here by different women that he don't take care of. That's foolishness. That don't even make no logical sense to me. But I've seen it. I've heard it and I've seen it. And I don't understand it. I am 1 hour 48 minutes in, topping 2 hours. Thank you all for joining me. 21 thumbs up and 13 in the chat. God bless you all. Thanks for joining me on this late night, almost 12:30 Eastern time in the high 10. What y'all doing up this late? Listening to the Queen talk about every subject known to man. We talked about breaking news. We talked about baby daddies, family members not being family, so-called friends. She said, my cousin's husband is doing this. Ooh, Lord, Well, since we are talking about various subject matters, because you know I want it to be that channel that's diverse, besides bringing you horrific stories, which I do bring you all a lot of true crime on this network, and I appreciate your comments and commentary and following me through thick and thin. Let's talk about being the mistress. At what point does a woman break free from being a mistress? Do you think a woman should be a mistress? Do you think a woman should be a mistress for 10 years, 15, 20? What has she gained by being a mistress? Thank you, Dee. What has she gained by being the other woman? I'll wait. Nietzsche done commented on everything I done said on this live tonight, but now she ain't got no comment about being the mistress. I'm just asking. I'm asking y'all what you think about it. That's all. I mean, we've been talking about different subject matters. Yesterday my live was on and popping because we were talking about bisexuality and this and that. Oh Lord, that was a good live. But let's let's go there. What do you think about a woman being a mistress for a very long time, being the other woman? Being the other woman. Is there a benefit to being the other woman? Being a other woman, the other woman for many years. What do you think of a woman being with a man for 20, 30 years as the mistress? Everybody knows, people in town know. What do you think? I'm just asking. Ooh, you 15 is quiet. Y'all want me to get off here? He's a dirtbag. Which one's a dirtbag? The mistress or the husband or both? Both. Okay. Okay. Ah, Michelle said nothing. Okay. What you mean, Michelle? Why, why you say it like that? You said nothing. I would feel dirty. It's no way for me. Chi Chi said no way for her. Melissa says dirtbag. Michelle says nothing. Unless she has her name on legal paperwork, a dry pocketbook. Right, Nature? Along with nothing. Zenobia said, Zenobia still hanging in there. She said, wow, there's nothing. Let me tell y'all something I watched the other day. That's why I brought this subject up. I was watching another YouTuber's channel where this lady, you all can go into the YouTube queue, and this video is going to pull up where this lady is sitting in her car talking about being the other woman. And when I tell you this heifer is ratchet, talking about she got a life insurance policy on one of her men, and she telling the other woman, oh, sorry, it was buffering. Sorry about that, it was buffering. Okay, sorry about that, I was buffering. She's telling the woman in a live, you can't stop a woman from coming to the funeral home, the hospital, to this. Why would I want to come to the hospital, see him sick and down and out? I wouldn't want that. But you can't stop nobody from coming to the funeral home. Well, that's where you're wrong, because a queen can stop you from coming to the funeral home. All she had to do was have security stand at the door and give a description of what you look like and say, I don't want this heathen here coming in here. Okay, so Melissa thinks it's a character issue of sleeping with a man with children. Okay, so this woman is sitting doing a live. She's very arrogant about herself. And the thing you can see about her, she don't care nothing about nobody, is the fact that she can say she's got insurance policies on a man that is not her husband or her boyfriend. That's pretty deep. Hello, 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 pretty baby elephant. Hello. And it was just her attitude, talking about messing with the man and having life insurance on him, because she made it seem like I got him on too or something like that. I was like, what's wrong with this effort? She is really brazen. But see, you have women like that they don't have any empathy or any remorse for sleeping with the married man. And they don't care nothing about the other wife, woman, whoever finding out. Well, he ain't gonna have he ain't gonna know because he dead, baby. Him dead. She's being facetious and saying, ain't nothing that the wife can do about other women coming to the funeral, yah. She's speaking on herself having life insurance policies. The point I'm trying to make is that this woman is doing a lie, but she's very callous in her behavior. She's talking, too overt and telling too much for somebody who's been sleeping around with a married man. She's just her attitude is very nasty. My thing is, if you're going to be the other woman, know when to be quiet. Going on a live talking about you going to come in a funeral home if you want to, visit if you want. You can't stop me and other women he messed with to come in the home. That's why I got a life insurance policy. I'm going to get paid. That show you right there, Queen got some issues, because I can't see ever coming forward telling anybody I got a life insurance policy on your husband. Baby, that's deep. And I don't think that's something you should tell. I don't. But I'm going to think about a situation of a woman, and and this is all true, dated a man for many years. He got sick, he passed away. And what I always wondered, because I never asked anybody what happened after he passed away, I always wondered if she went to his viewing or his funeral. Because, this is a small area I live in, and everybody knows that he messed with her. So I always wondered, even Nietzsche said back in the day they kept the mouths closed. I always wondered, did she go view his body? Did she go to the funeral? I wonder how does she feel now with him, passing? And is she dating anybody else now? Because she dated this man a long time. She dated this man probably as long as many people have actually been married. Because I know she was messing around with him when I was in my late teens, and I would see them, out at this little lodge or whatever. When I was going out, hanging out as a young person, I would see them sitting together, drinking or whatever, and I knew he was married to this woman. So I always think, dang, they out in public openly like this in the little juke joint, and it was a common thing. And this is what I say about people accepting things. People actually accepted it. These two sitting in a lodge together, drinking and having a good time. You understand what I'm saying? So in your mind, you're thinking, wow, his wife never came in there, so it was never no malfunction with the wife. And he knew the wife wasn't going to come in there, so he didn't mind being with this woman publicly in a little juke joint, fraternizing with she and other people. And she obviously didn't mind. But now let's fast forward many moons later. He's gone. Now she's alone. So that's why I'm asking the question. What was the benefit? Because he is now deceased. His wife is alone with no man or husband. And now what are you doing? An older person. Well, somebody mentioned that to me recently about that that black guy who's a football player. Y'all know who he is. I can't think of his name. Is it Terrell Owens or somebody who uh his father lived across the street, and the man used to mess with his mama, and that's how he came to be. He's the product of his mother messing with a married man. Is that him? The football player? That's cold. To be living across the street from your daddy. Okay. I thought that was him. Damn, Nitra, that's deep, baby. You are conceived from an affair of neighbors. And you living across the street from your daddy and your brothers and sisters. Y'all can't tell me that is some boldness right there. She said it's almost as if they get high from the affair. Well, baby, it probably is a high. Don't you think most things that's done wrong is a rush? It's a shock to the system. Think about it. Sneaking around, you excited, you can't wait to see the person. It's a rush. Hoping you don't get caught. Because some people, I think they want to get caught. Because some things that men do is obvious. Said folks live in the same neighborhood. Well, see, but that's what was so disturbing is when I heard that recently. Somebody had said, that he's a product of an affair, and his daddy lived across the street. First thing I thought was, well, wow, y'all this bold to be sleeping. Your mama was sleeping with that man, and he was the neighbor. Now, was he going over to their house playing with the children and all that too? Oh, I have to do some research on that. But damn, that's deep. Whew. Ah, that's deep. I just think it's a way of doing things when you're doing wrong. It's a way of doing things. If you're going to participate in anything wrong like that, it's a way of doing things. And we all know that when you're in a small town, that when you are cheating, somebody is going to find out. Oh, okay. Somebody is going to find out that you are sleeping around on your wife, your husband, or you sleeping with somebody else's spouse. Somebody gonna tell it because we as women can't hold water for one. We gonna tell a friend, a relative, somebody. The husband may tell, or the wife may tell somebody. Somebody get mad, then somebody go start spilling the tea. Then somebody start giving up the receipts, addresses, telephone numbers, locations. Well, this is true, but then too, Melissa, we do have relationships that have lasted years of people sleeping around. Not no 2, 3 months of having sex and then they went on their way. You got people like this person I'm talking about. These people messed around for 20 or more years. The woman was a mistress for 20 or more years. That's a long time. That's a very long time. I didn't call folks and just played it off. Oh, people that you knew. Okay, yeah, yeah. And that's another thing. If it is your friend, your girlfriend, you see her husband out at the mall, a restaurant, a neighboring town, at the Walmart, somewhere with another woman, and it looks like it is that. Do you go tell her you saw her with another, saw him with another woman? I'll wait. Or do you keep your mouth closed? Ooh, Nietzsche said, I don't get in folks' relationships. Well, you know the downside of telling it is that she may go back and tell you told him. And then here he comes running trying to find you. What you doing in my business telling that I was with another woman and cuss you out, God forbid, threaten your life. See, that's the thing about telling on people. When you think you saw them with somebody or you did and you for sure, there is a great chance that the person will go back and tell that you told it. Now you are getting ready to fall out with this other person because you gave the 411 or the 211 on something that you saw and or heard. Because women have a bad habit of telling who told something. Right. And 9 times out of 10, they will stay. Nitra is right. Most women do not leave their men when they find out they are cheating. So when you go tell, you may have really thought you had good intentions because you think she should know. Oh, D said, I saw my uncle and told, I told my 80. Well, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. What's even more interesting is when the people are church going people, people who claim to be Christians. And I think of a story of an elderly woman who was in the church heavily, and she was sleeping with this elderly man, and he would come at night and knock on her little back door, and they sit and giggle and laugh in the room. Hello, hello, Elizabeth. And not the cleanup woman, Lord Jesus, I'm dead. And he would partake and sit back there with her. I don't know what kind of relationships they was having, because they were some old folks. And when I say old, I ain't talking about 50. I'm talking about they like in their 70s. But the sad part to me was that he lived down the street, at the end of the street from her house. And he was married to a woman. And I thought it was sad that you would obviously drive your car up the street and turn the corner, park your car, and sleep with this other old woman, as if nobody then went back and told your wife that your car is parked at the end of the corner with the other woman, and both women attended the same church. Then let me tell you how crazy this story panned out. Many years ago, I saw them same two women in church talking and laughing together, and I thought I was going to pass all the way out. Did they make amends? Pretty baby elephant. Ain't nobody saying nothing about 69. I said in their 70s. They were way up in the 70s. Because this lady is right now, if she was alive, she'd be like 100 and something. About probably 101, 102. But what I'm saying is, I believe at some point those two talked after he died. because they attended the same church for many, many moons until both died. Put that on paper. Both attended the same church, both lived on the same street, and both were sharing this old ass man and going to the same church. Shut your mouth. And I said to myself, dear God, I done heard it all. Oh, dang, the pastor killed himself. Well, you remember that story down in Memphis, don't you? With the black pastor sleeping with the woman, and the woman came up from what was that, Arkansas or whatever, and showed up at the house, and the wife let him in, let the lady in, and she shot him right there. She didn't shoot the wife, but she did shoot the husband. That's cold, because she could have shot that wife, but I guess she spared her for whatever reason. See, you don't know people. And the wife let her in because, oh, she's still in jail? Okay. I'm going to have to read that to see how much time she got, Nitra. The crazy part is the wife let her in because she knew of her and possibly, from church. So she like, Nitra, she shot the wife. Okay. Well, the wife didn't die. I don't know why I thought she just shot the husband. Okay. So she did shoot the wife. Okay, because I do remember the wife living. They haven't had the trial. Okay. But the crazy part is this. She shows up to this woman's house and she lets her in the house. And this was a professional woman. This was not no okie doke female. Oh, shot in the shoulder. Okay. Well, hell, she really didn't want to kill her then if she shot in the shoulder. She knew where to shoot the husband. Shut your mouth. But you see, you don't never know how things are going to turn out when you are out here slumbering with people. You may have really thought the person was nice. You knew it was wrong to sleep around with them, mess around. You do it anyway, and then you don't stop. And you're in your mind thinking that you're not going to get caught. But as you say, it will come out eventually. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, it might be 5 years. I don't know. But is it worth it? Oh, no, girl. Okay, I'm going to bring up something else since we're on this subject of buffoonery in church. Did you all ever see the Facebook post last year? God, I don't know if I want to repeat this. Oh, Lord have mercy. God forgive me. The boy letting another man, wait a minute, let me get it right. A young guy, father is a pastor. Oh, Arkansas, okay. A young guy has a father who's a pastor in the church. He's got a guy sitting in a chair, like on a pew, I guess. And he is performing fellatio on this guy who's got all these tattoos in his daddy's church. Did y'all see that Facebook post a year ago? Because it went viral. And the video went viral of him sucking his man's private in his daddy's church. And the guy is talking like, how you feel going down on me in your daddy church? Because he's mumbling it. When I saw that video, I had somebody send me that video. My relative sent me that video. When I tell you my eyebrows was on fire. They was burnt. I said, you know you's a dirty heathen to perform sex on a man in your daddy church and let the dude film it. And do you know eventually the video, as I state, went viral, and the picture of that fat Teletubby went viral, and everybody in the world has seen his picture and put two and two together who he is. Because you don't care. He probably was mad at his daddy because he's homosexual. Who's to say that his daddy didn't care for him being a gay man? So he feel like I'll get back at my daddy in the church and leak this video of me having just like Pastor Wilson. I don't know about Pastor Wilson. Oh, Pastor Wilson and what? The man or the girl? The girl who leaked the video, who they said was mad because she wasn't made the choir director, and she put out that video last year too of yeah, The girl put the video out of the pastor going down on her. I said to myself, y'all know y'all need to stop this now. Why would you leave? First of all, I'm not going to film myself having relations with a man, period. And I'm not about to let no man film me. And I'm sure as hell not going to get mad because I didn't get a role or a job in the church. So to get back at the pastor, I'm going to leak this video of him going down on me. Well, see, what you done forgot about, sister, you the dummy, because you now have disgraced yourself as a woman first and foremost. Two, you call yourself being a Christian in church, and you sleeping with the pastor, and you done shamed yourself, the church, everybody. Said she was friends with the wife. Oh, well, I don't know. You know, I don't keep up with all these stories because I don't never really go investigate when I hear these little stupid stories. But I'm telling you, a grown man performing sex in his daddy's church is foul. And the guy who filmed it, letting him go down on him, you a nasty booger. And 9 times out of 10, you walking around here pretending you a straight male. So you on a whole nother level too. And old Teletubby, you foul for doing that in your father's church. And that big girl filming herself with the pastor going down on her, you's a nasty bugger too. And it ain't nothing that was going on in that church worth you putting that video out. Come on now. You know better than that. You know better than that. Like I said, you gonna sin and fornicate, that's your business. But you don't have to let the whole world know what you're doing. And why would you want to shame yourself as a woman showing the pastor doing that to you? You forgot you got to be able to go out here and work. You got to hold down a job. You got to go out here and date somebody, fool. You got to one day become somebody's mother. You care that little for yourself to seek revenge on somebody, and you ain't thinking about your own livelihood, your family, your reputation, because you want revenge. So how you feel now that you leaked that video out? Same thing with that little fat boy. How you feel now that everybody know who you are? And you just did that sexual act in your daddy's church. Oh, I saw that cussing pastor. That's too much too. All that's too much. Cussing pastor, sleeping pastor. And then what about the pastor laying in the bed with the other homosexual man? And they took a pic together. Bye, Tito. I'm done. You just don't really know what be going on out here in the streets, baby. What these folks be doing. Yeah, a pastor is showing, it's a pastor in the bed with another man, and I think they're kissing, and the guy that took a photo of him and the pastor kissing or something like that, and it got leaked out. He leaked it out. He or the pastor leaked it out. Oh, we could talk about that. Pastor sleeping with their church members. Everybody knows they've been messing around, and y'all steady going to church, putting your money in the pot and upholding the pastor, sleeping with the church member as if it's no big deal. I'm just trying to understand what type of church you got going on when you know that the pastor's sleeping with this gal and you seen his car parked up at her house. Allegedly, they were seen in a certain restaurant in town, meeting for lunch every day. Somebody I know worked at the restaurant and said they would be sitting in the said restaurant dining for lunch every day. Now, we know the pastor has the right to dine with people, eat with people. But come on now. Once the car is seen parked behind the house, because you know people can see your car driving up the driveway, we have now left the realm of just having lunch. Why, pastor? He's no longer alive now. And I ain't gonna even tell how he died because then everybody know who I'm talking about. But you understand what I'm saying. It's a way of doing things. And I think that if you want to be a pastor and you want to have relations with a woman, You might want to go outside your peripheral to take up with a female or a male, whichever you desire, because doing it in your town is probably going to be bring repercussions. Somebody going to know, somebody going to hear it, somebody going to repeat it. It's just the way it is. But I don't understand how a church can keep church members knowing the pastor is slumbering with another woman or man or more participants. That's all I'm saying. And you married, got children. Come on, pastor, now. Come on. And it's sad when you hear these stories because people equate adultery with pastors, fraud, schemes, scams, and every man is not like that. Every woman who's a pastor is not like that. You don't want to have that assumption that all men of the cloth are sleeping around, or same thing with a priest, that all male priests are pedophiles and homosexual, because that's not fair. But you hear the stories and it gives the church itself a bad name, because everybody has the right to patronize the Lord's house, and they have a right to have faith in you that you are going to do right and lead your flock. And you cannot lead the flock if you are out here living like a civilian. And that's just a spoken word. You cannot be getting turned up. You cannot be sleeping with your members and outside civilians. You cannot be partaking in homosexuality. You cannot also be participating in pedophilia. Okay, test the fruit. You know what, Nietzsche? Nietzsche, get off of here. Oh, Lord. I'm going to cut all y'all loose. Oh, Jesus. Nietzsche, what is going on with you? Test the fruit. Well, the fruit stank and leave it alone because it don't belong to you. And I'm just saying, I know people are going to be tempted to do wrong, but I just feel like when you have decided to become a part of the church, such as a leader in the church, you know you taking on that role, you need to check yourself. If you have any apprehension about wanting other women, men, you should not be a pastor, an elder, a priest, whatever the title is. Just be a regular person. Just saying. Just be a regular person. Right. Melissa's right. You are held at a high standard. And you know you're going to be held at a high standard. And you know people are going to be watching everything you do and say and where you shop and where you go. They watching you. Oh, nature crazy. Talking about some of these folks were not called. They just went. That's a good one, nature. That's a good one. But that's the thing. A lot of people will say that. You're right. I've been called. I'm ordained. I'm this. But their mind is still in the streets. Their mind is still in the gutter. Their mind is still in the gutter. They still want to live like they are in the streets, partaking of the street life. And now they up in them folks' church showing out, all up on the folk good skirts and dresses, looking and lurking. And it's shameful. And people now have no respect for themselves, to where instead of them doing wrong with the pastor or whatever they doing, now they feel like, well, they done made me mad. I'm going to tell everybody he's sleeping with me and he got me pregnant and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to make a video of us having sex. Wow. You just don't see how that's going to hurt yourself. That's the part that's baffling to me, is that the dodo bird don't see that is going to hurt him or herself. You got to work, dummy. You got to have a place to sleep, dummy. And you want to show the world you having sex with the pastor. Just got babies out here, STDs. Well, we know all that. We know all about that. STDs. And that my understanding, they are at an all-time high, STDs. Yeah. It will come back. But that's the world we live in. You just have people right now that are just for themselves. People are more selfish now. That was something I wanted to say earlier. Is that when I was talking about friendships, courtships, relationships, family, people are not like they were 30 years ago, where people acted like they cared about you, they were concerned about you, they checked on you, they called you. If you didn't have a car, they give you a ride. They were more. Now everything is wrapped up into social media, blinged out, self-serving. People are not concerned about you like they were. And these could be people who you actually had a good rapport with. But now all they care about is them. They lie, they manipulate, they don't have time for you, they don't call you, they don't check on you, they don't see if you need anything. They do not care. People are self serving today more than ever. And that's the damn problem. And we can be selfish at sometimes. We all need a break from people, life, work, friends, family, TV, social media, all that. But there comes a time when you got to be able to jump back on board because you don't want to be in that place where you just say, F everybody. I don't give a D about nobody. It's all about me. I don't care if you're out there burning, you're on fire. Oh, well, I ain't going to be the one to throw the cup of water. Because, we all can get like that once we get tired of putting up with BS. We say, you know what? I'm just worrying about me. And you do have people, you're right, that don't have no compassion. They have no empathy. They do not care about you. And really, I see a lot of that. And I really see a lot of that with social media, YouTube, people commenting, YouTube channel holders, social media posts, social media blogs, all that. Yes, a kind word can go a long way, but you have to want to give a kind word. And a lot of people don't want to be kind. They like being mean and vengeful and spiteful every day, all day. They wake up on one. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got up and gave thanks. They ain't got up and thought of what kind of good day they could have, what they can bring to the world good, what they can do good. They already up on one. Like Cat Williams once said, "You banging on bacon." You understand what I'm saying? You up already, mad. Ain't had you a slice of toast and bacon. You already got an attitude. You ready to shoot pop somebody because you have people whose mindset is like that. They don't care. They don't care. Well, I'm 2 hours and 22 minutes in. I think I might check out of here because we've talked about a few crazy subject matters today. If you all don't have anything else you want to bring up in this live, I think I'll check out of here because I want to get me a shower because it is late in the high 10. And I told myself I was going to bathe earlier, but I didn't. But I want to say I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to you all. We have talked about many subject matters. And as you see, I brought you the story of the man in South Carolina who was accused of having sexual relations with a young girl. And the father caught them and he shot at him. He is currently in jail. I brought you the story of Alexis Sharkey, a Caucasian woman found thrown out in the road in Houston, Texas last Saturday. They're still investigating and waiting on an autopsy. Brianna Johnson, also found in the trunk of a car of a guy she had been dating. And she was also a Houston resident, also found dead last Saturday, but in Beaumont, Texas, waiting on an autopsy for her as well. And then I brought you the story of the young lady, upstate Illinois, who just got indicted on the murder of both twin babies that were discarded in an alley garbage can 17 years ago. Have mercy. The stories are horrendous out here. But I thank you all for joining me and tuning in. I will jump back on this week. I don't know if I'll jump on tomorrow or not, but I thank you for joining me. And I thank you for commenting and listening to all the shenanigans, baby. I ain't got but 10 in the room and 26 thumbs up, but I'm grateful and I'm humble. Thank you so, so very much, Nitra, Melissa, all my other little fans that joined in. Let's see who else I got in here. Not too many. Most of y'all probably didn't checked out, but I had quite a few. But I thank you all, pallets and pugs and all of those nice, kind people, Zenobia. Thanks for joining in. This has been an interesting live. I hope we all have learned something and can take something positive out of this live into this week. You all have a blessed week. Stay safe. Mask up. There may be a shutdown. Oh, before I check out of here, at 11:59 p.m. California time, Sunday, California will be shutting down due to COVID-19 because there is an uptick of COVID cases in the valley. So if you live in the California area, we will be praying for you because now you are going into shutdown mode. I do not know if other states will follow suit, but I will be praying for all of you because right now it will be dire if we are all to go back to shutting down as we did in March of 2020. So at 11:59 California time, they will be shutting down the state. Bars, hair salons, nail salons, restaurants, they will be shutting down. So if you have family or friends out there in California, pray for them because they're going to need it right now. And we need prayer right now because I'm praying that the rest of us don't get shut down. Because as I told you all yesterday, with the issue of California shutting down, the Tennessee governor has issued the National Guard to hospitals and clinics to aid in the help of COVID because the hospitals are overwhelmed right now with patients. So anyone who is certified with a nursing degree and medical certifications, they will be going to hospitals and clinics helping with the relief of COVID patients. The National Guard in the state of Tennessee. Thanks for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless all of you. Thanks for watching my last 9. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Be careful. You guys have a blessed week. Put your mask on. Bye-bye.